What's up, everybody? This is Books Nelson with the Ami Bro Show. Long time no see. I'm going to go ahead and set this up, so get the link out there for everybody. But we're going to be going over Pink Diamond Bill Walton primarily, but I'll also be giving you guys a quick update on the channel, where things are going, and all that other stuff. I appreciate all. I've gotten a lot of requests. Like, guys, I can't say enough. The support for the channel has been absolutely tremendous. You know, I've gotten so many requests for, breakdowns and all that other stuff, and people looking for stuff just saying they missed the content. So I'll go into that a little bit in a moment, but first let's get this Bill Walton breakdown out of the way, so we can just go ahead and get that done. All right, so Bill Walton, just look, so for those of you, I guess everybody's pretty up on this card already, but he's fantastic. He's just really out of control good. Let's see, is anybody in chat yet? He's out of control good in so many ways. So I guess the reason he's still less than 10K, which is crazy. There's been some pretty good cards for value, but he's like really low value for what he provides. And it's probably because of the 74 three-pointer and his lack of range extender. But he's so good. I mean, he can play point guard at 6'11". He's basically a Giannis style card, and the 2K has been putting out these Giannis clones for a while now. I would put Joe Smith, obviously Dino Raja. Giannis has become a category, whereas before he used to just be, it was Giannis or bust. Now there's a lot of Giannis's in the game. Giannis's, I don't know. But he's one of them. He's one of them, and he's really fantastic. So it really comes down to how good are his animations, because again, he's 6'11". He's 6'11", he's got a 90 ball handle, and let's look at his speed. He's got a 96 speed with a coach, which is insane. 89 speed with the ball, right? Everything else not super relevant, because again, when you have that thing going for you, let's just look at it. He's got Hall of Fame dimer, downhill, which means he's a 99 speed when he has the 99 speed with the ball when he has the ball in his hands on a fast break. Underrated badge, flashy passer. Another underrated badge, needle threader, will help with those people hanging out in the passing lanes. Really, really good badge, especially if, for park people, if you're sleeping on that badge, definitely get that one. So yeah, he's got all of the defensive badges in the world. And again, this is on a point guard. So the other thing is, as a defender, he's going to make other point guards miserable on the opposite end. So here's the thing. Even though he has a 73-point shot, once you add in the coach and a shoe and floor general, that 74 turns into the 80s. And then you add in, well, he doesn't have hot zones on the three-point line, so that's good. But all things considered, catch and shoot in the corner. I think shake and bake just put up a tweet saying somebody was peekabooing him all day with Bill Walton, and we're gonna see why. All right, so let's look at we'll first look at a shot. Very nice shot, very easy to see green window. I barely touched this card, and you see him greening right away. I believe I'm still on Hall of Fame difficulty. So I should at least be a superstar. Let's double check here. Oh no, we're on All-Star. All right, let's put that up there. There we go. Let's take a look at his shot in All-Star difficulty, and I also have a meter on. And you see still here green on Hall of Fame difficulty. You just saw me switch it up. So yeah, so he has a great shot, and it's very quick. And we're gonna look at we'll look at him off the peak. Very quick peekaboo teleport animation. That's really smooth and fast again for 6'11". That's outstanding. So he's an effective peekaboo character. And people think the peekaboo is only for the three-point line, but again, when you're in a scramble type situation and somebody's behind you, the peekaboo is still effective in the mid-range, especially in triple threat. That's a situation where that's the shot that you can still generate. And with this guy, he's such a good shooter from mid-range. That is definitely something that you have access to. So all right, let's look at the dribbles, which is what a lot of people are going to be really curious about, because he's so fast with the ball. He has such a high, and this is Bill Walton, actually one of the slowest people I've ever seen at a high level. But, it is what it is. Project Elevate, what's up? So that's his behind the back. It's not a phenomenal behind the back. It's okay. Let's look at it between the legs. He has a very, very, very good between the legs. That's an extraordinarily high level between the leg dribble. Let's take a look at that again. So he can do that, which automatically at 6'11" at the point guard, that automatically just makes him top tier. Like if somebody's gonna play you, and they're gonna do that with Bill Walton with a 99 speed with the ball, and again, it's 99 speed with the ball when you incorporate downhill. This character can honestly perform like the best card in the game. Like he really can. He can perform like he's the best card in the game. I'm not saying he's the best card in the game. I'm just saying that people can use him in a way that it feels that way. This card can feel like he's worth a million MT because of the way that he can be played. You know, this game is not made to have 6'11" players doing this stuff at the level that he's able to do it. So, yeah, I mean, this card is really, really outstanding. So when a guy like Shake and Bake is like this, I'm getting destroyed by this card, this is why. This is why he's getting destroyed by this card, because this card is super duper overpowered. And I would say all year, this might be the best budget card in the game. But let's look at the rest of his dribbles. So he doesn't have the Pro 3 hesitation, which is generally, in my opinion, a bad thing to not have Pro 3 hesitation. But again, at a 6'11", it's really just about what else does he have, right? So the thing about Walton is he has this really short step back, which normally I hate. I hate this step back. But on a 6'11", it's actually not a bad thing because he's just trying to create a little space. It's almost substituting for that Pro 3 hezi. So he can do that and he can get into the rest of his dribbles. You know, so I'm tapping left trigger, you can also tap up, and then you get that little step back hop in there and just reset your dribble. So that's what's a little strong thing about this character with that. With the guard who's creating space for a three-pointer, that thing is terrible. But with the 6'11", who's only creating a little bit of space to reset his dribble and get into these overpowered animations, that's actually very good because it's a very quick reset. You know, so I think if Park players were allowed to speed boost at 6'11", I could see putting that on because it would make that Giannis playstyle more effective than, say, the Kobe or Pro 6. I don't know if Pro 6 does it, but the Iverson and Kobe step back, which a lot of people go towards, which is really good for shaking people up. You're not trying to shake people. You know, with Bill Walton, you don't have the Pro 3 hezi, so you're really just resetting. You know, and that's the key with him is you just reset, and that allows you to misdirect and stuff like that. And that's the other thing about him is that he has misdirections available to him. So the interesting thing about taking away stuff like the momentum dribble is now things like this become more important. So it actually requires, it made signature dribbles more important when everybody doesn't have access to like momentum dribbles and behind the backs to automatically make them a good dribbler. Stuff like misdirecting becomes really like much more important. We were just playing the Basketball Gods event yesterday, and literally every time you pull that out on an average Park player, it works. Like literally every time, especially on a slasher, because you zigzag like that, and they're just out of position to stop you from rim running and, you know, hop stepping. And it's not like this is the hardest thing in the world to do. It really is. You just do any size up, run in the direction, and then you do the hold right trigger, and then do behind the back, not behind the back, between the legs and back in the other direction, and you're good to go. Just let go of everything, and you do that, and you're going to zigzag in the opposite direction. And Bill Walton's a 6'11" who can do that very easily. And again, if it doesn't work, you can snatch back and reset very quickly with this, what do you call it? With the that little short hop step back, because the key with him is always resetting. So you combine that with the fact that he has an excellent between the legs, so we're going to half spin between the legs. That's going to be really strong with him. He really is a character that if you know how to dribble in this game, if you know 2K20 dribbling very well, there's really nothing you can do about that assortment of moves to keep this guy from hop stepping past 99.9% of the point guards in this game. So essentially, if someone's playing Bill Walton, honestly, I don't even know if having a Simmons or a Magic does anything about it. I will say for myself, even when I had LeBron and people had Magic, like back before, you know, the GOAT Magic came out and stuff, I didn't feel like Magic was stopping me at all, you know? So I don't even know if these giant point guards are an answer for each other in the sense of driving to the basket. I think it's more about when you post up. But either way, this is a goofy card. So I'm going to look at the rest of his animations now, just kind of run through everything. First, I'll run through the rest of his dribbles. Then we'll look at his dunk animations, and I'll talk about a channel update and stuff like that. So this is his crossover, his standing crossover. It's got kind of a wind-up before it, so I don't recommend it. It's behind the back. His behind the back is really fast. So if you're in a size-up situation when you need to switch hands or start up for that misdirection I was talking about, That's the move you probably want to go to, behind the back turbo, back in the other direction. That little zigzag is going to be pretty obnoxious with this character, and you can also just go in the other direction, go straight forward as well, right? And which is another reason it's so good, because if you do that and you just run forward, they have to respect that. And if there's any space created, again, that short amount of space created by this step back is actually very good for this strategy. If there's any space created, and they are trying to back off of you, particularly because he doesn't have a good three-pointer, and they're trying to cut you off, that's when that's really strong, because you zigzag one way and then hop step back in the other direction. 2K literally just doesn't give you the defensive movement necessary to stop that. So I would say from a size-up position, his behind the back is the strongest one of the size-up. So look at his between the legs. His between the legs is also really, really excellent. I'm going to look to see if he has a killer crossover. Nah, he doesn't really have a killer crossover thing. Yeah, he has a little killer crossover. He has a little killer crossover. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Which again is really good for if you find a defender is watching your hand. So one way to play effective defense is in 2K, every change of direction outside of this change of direction requires a little bit of startup. So if the ball, so you want to watch what side of the hand, which hand the ball is in. So that's what makes this stuff effective. When people are looking at which hand the ball is in. So when you momentum one way, and people are looking for you to come back into the other direction, and they're sitting on that same side, that is going to make them completely freeze in place. And it's actually more effective than people give it credit for, because it's a change in the rhythm of things. Like a lot of people who don't know how to dribble or only know how to dribble a little bit get stuck into this stuff right here. You see this all the time on some of your favorite YouTubers. No offense to those guys. I pretty much am cool with everybody in the YouTube community, at least, DBG, RCA, obviously 6 minutes. So there's no hate towards anybody that you see doing this kind of thing, but you see this kind of bit always. And if you'll notice this kind of left and right, there's a rhythm to this left and right. And even people who know how to momentum dribble, there's a rhythm to that too. The momentum dribble kind of fits in that rhythm, right? And it's kind of a slow startup in that situation. But when you mix in the killer cross, it changes the rhythm. You see the change of rhythm that is? So it's actually very useful if you can pull it out very quickly when you need to do it. And this is something that I use to good effectiveness in the park, especially when I'm on my game. Like if I've been working all week and I haven't been used to the game, I'll completely forget I even have access to that move. But when I'm playing, that's another move to have in the bag that's really good. And you see here in these combos, this little step back here is very strong. So this little step back, it also works the same way as that momentum crossover, right? I mean that misdirection. So that misdirection right there, the step back can also be used in that same context. You see there? It's just kind of a freeze, stop you, pull back. So this Bill Walton effectively can just kind of zigzag his way just all around the court. Like seriously, that's the crossover in that same context where you charge in one direction and then you zigzag back the other way. So this Bill Walton can literally, if somebody knows how to dribble properly, he can just be really hippity hopping his way throughout the whole game. Seriously. That it's he's just basically hopping all over the place, back and forth, left and right. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I think this card is really strong. And if I was playing my team very seriously, I would definitely be using the Bill Walton card in my lineup. 100%. I don't know if he would start or come off the bench. My instinct is to think he would start, and I'd run my Bill Walton plan A and then somebody else plan B. But yeah, I would do this because I think most players aren't equipped to stop that at all. So yeah. Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat. I really appreciate you guys showing up. So, all right, so let's run through the rest of these animations. So those were his size-up animations, the relevant ones. Just for quick review, the crossover is pretty slow. Don't use it. The between the legs is excellent. Use it. The behind the back is excellent. Use it. All right. So let's check his momentum crossover. So not momentum crossover. His hezzy crossover. His holding turbo and crossing over. This is his ability to dance really, which is not super great. This is all right. It looks like it might crab people, so that's pretty good. So that one might actually be pretty solid, but he can't go both directions without stopping. But he can, you see here, he can kind of lollygag you a little bit. He can, throw the behind the back in there or the between the legs in there. And he can get a little bit of behind the screen kind of zigzag stuff going on. And again, this is another thing, dribbling is really all about rhythm this year and getting people to commit to that one side, getting them to start to believe you. And once they believe you and you can kind of go back to that other direction, that's when you can really freeze people in place. You know, so this kind of thing right here can get people like anticipating you dropping off to the free throw line. That's what a lot of people do against cards that don't have a great 3-pointer. Is you do something like this, and they start getting anticipatory on you, and you just pull up. So that dribble is not useless. Just because it's not like an ankle breaker move, don't think that it's useless, because it's one of those things to get your opponent to react, to get your opponent to start to try and read you. You know, so yeah, so that's actually a pretty solid dribble. We already looked at his step back. This is his hesitation, which I view this as, now I could be wrong about this, I view this as totally useless. I would never use this. I don't like the way it puts him so far back, and there's a lot of catch-up animations after this. So if I'm using Bill Walton, this is me tapping right on the right stick as I'm going across, same way you would do the Pro Hezi. I would not recommend this move at all. It's just too many animation frames to commit to. If you're running around the perimeter with Bill Walton, tap left trigger. All right, tap left trigger is going to give you all of the good animations. You see there, you can combo out of that immediately off the left trigger into a step back. You can go the same direction, which a lot of people will do. And then obviously you can also get into his main dribbles off of that as well. So I think for Bill Walton, the bread and butter is definitely tapping that left trigger, which you can also substitute for up on the stick. Will give you the same thing, tap up on the stick, and it give you the same bit. I like left trigger for, primarily because I like to keep my right stick free if I can. If I'm not going to be using the right stick for a specific thing, I like to not touch it at all, because the right stick does so many things that in a game that is as laggy and latency written as 2K, sometimes you can tap right stick and it'll hold on to the input and give you a bad input. So if you can use the left trigger for something, I recommend always using the left trigger whenever you can, because the left trigger is more reliable than right stick, because the left trigger is a button, not an analog stick, right? So the left trigger can only mean one thing to the game, whereas the right stick, there's margin of error there. All right, so that's that for those dribbles. We looked at his running dribbles. Again, the between the legs is phenomenal, so I would spam that as much as possible. Did we look at his running crossover? I don't think we did. Oh my God, his running crossover is insane. That's really good. That's really good. This character's busted. This character is super busted, man. That running crossover and that between the legs are the perfect counterparts to each other. That is busted. This guy, busted. I don't understand. That's what I don't understand about this community. Like, if I was setting the prices for cards, this guy would easily be at least 75K. Like Dino Raja, right? Like Dino Raja, Eddie Curry, he'd be in that group of pink diamonds that operate at the level of the current Galaxy Opals in the meta. Now we're at the point where everybody has a Galaxy Opal, so Walton is clearly better than a lot of Galaxy Opals, but I'm talking about the meta Galaxy Opals. He's as good as some meta Galaxy Opals, and he is less than 10K. If there was more time in the year, I would say he's probably a good investment, but there's not a lot of time in the year, so they're probably going to release, you know, somebody else and just randomly give them point guard. Now the out of position packs is just something we're doing all the time. All right, so let's see. So let's check out these dunk animations. That should cut it for the dribbles. So we've seen his hop dunks throughout here. He's got a lot of great hop dunks. So we're going to break down his dunking real quick across the board. So first, strong hand. Very nice strong hand dunk, no slowdown. He actually seen the speed up. Let's check his dunk radius, like a bunch of professionals here. He has maximum dunk radius. I activated that right as he touched the three-point line. So in addition to being an excellent dribbler, he's also, you know, a phenomenal slasher, because he has very close to, if not the full maximum dunk radius. Let's look again. Yeah, he has a maximum dunk radius of the time I activated it a little early. All right, so that's looking good. So we're going to look at the left hand. So that's his switch hand. A little gather, but he didn't slow down too bad. I would say that's good. I would give that an A. The other ones I would give an S. And we're going to look at, whoops, pressed it too soon. So here's the thing about dunk radius too. Just because a character has maximum dunk radius on some dunk packages doesn't mean they have them on all of them. So when you're doing your dunk tests on your dunk packages, and this goes for if you're playing park or whatever too, test every direction from maximum dunk radius, because every dunk package doesn't reach that far. All right, but his does. That's his flashy dunk. So we look to switch hand. That's a really, really gorgeous switch hand dunk from maximum. So he's an elite dunker. We're gonna look at forward on the stick as well. And that's great if someone's in front of you, because it keeps the ball away from them. If someone's behind you, I don't advise to do that. All right, we'll check the weak hand. Excellent Statue of Liberty dunk with the left hand. Yeah, so he's an elite dunker. He's an S-tier dunker as well. So that's great. I don't love the gather on the forward on the stick with the ball in the left hand. It's not terrible, but it's not elite like the rest of his dunks. Switch hands. A little bit of a gather on a switch hand dunk. Not a bad one, just, it's fine. We're going to look at fancy or flashy. His flashy was okay. Even though I started that at maximum radius with the ball in his left hand, it did make him take a step. Let's see here. There we go. That one was better. He switched hands. Huh, that's interesting. So yeah, he's an elite dunker. Let's see if he has baseline reverses. He sure does. Oof, this is one of the best slashers in the game. Like, this guy's an elite slasher. And his peekaboo is actually really effective. And this, I don't have a shoe on him. I mean, obviously I would put a shoe on him. Definitely get those extra 3-point ratings. Get that floor general. And he also doesn't have floor general in his favor right now. So in practice, he's not going to shoot as well as he will in game. Particularly because after a few of those dunks, he's going to start to get into takeover. So yeah, once he gets into the takeover, so that's one thing. So this is not something I've ever suggested in this game, but I do recommend it for cards like Walton, who don't have 99 everything, and they're pushing the limit with their 3-pointer at that 74. So he's going to get a +3 from the shoe. He's going to get a +4 from the coach, and then he's going to get a +4 from Hall of Fame floor general from somebody else, right? So the math is 11. So that puts him in an 85. Now, as he goes into takeover, his shot is going to start to go up as well. So what I would suggest is play with the card in like an offline game. You could do it online too. But as he is approaching takeover, constantly pause the game, go to his ratings, and watch his ratings go up and see just how much his 3-pointer goes up over the course of the game. Because every bit of takeover you get pushes every rating up a certain amount. So this guy might literally get up to like a 90, 95 3-pointer when he gets closer and closer to takeover. So he effectively becomes, I'm not going to say a different card as the game goes on, but I do think it gets to a situation where the card can play a little differently and has to be guarded differently as he gets to takeover. And for those of you guys who are playing against this card, keep that in mind as well. I didn't watch the game, but I would suspect that one of the things that Shakedown might have been experiencing a problem with is that Bill Walton might have started the game out with an 85 3-pointer with all of his boosts, but he might have been dealing with a Bill Walton with a 90, 95 3-pointer as he's approaching or getting into takeover, because he's been doing the things that he's really strong at for a few plays, and now you're in a situation where you're guarding the card out here and he's peekabooing on you and you're like, wait, doesn't he have a 75-3? No, my friend. He's got a 95-3 because he's getting towards takeover or in takeover. He's got the shoe, he's got the coast boots, he's got the floor general. He effectively is an early year version of a 3-point shooter before everybody got range extended. He's like, Kevin Martin or something like that. So yeah, so that 75 3-pointer is very, very deceptive. Depending on what his takeover is. I know that depends on shoes and coaches. So that's why I say once you get all of the stuff you're going to put on the character, once you get the coach you're going to use, the teammates you're going to use, the shoe you're going to use, then take the card into like a domination game, even if it's just for a quarter, like quit out of it or whatever. But get him a little bit into takeover. It's worth you knowing exactly what he gets boosted to, because that 3-pointer might be really insane. So that's going to wrap it up for the Bill Walton thing. Thank you everyone for joining me for that segment of it. And if you are done with this video, I bid you good day. All right. So just a quick channel update. So I have not quit covering MyTeam. In fact, I would say the opposite is true in terms of 2K21. I'm going to be covering MyTeam 2K21 day one, super heavy, right? The reason I stopped doing card reviews, besides the fact that I'm a working person, right? COVID did not change my work. I got a little bit of a vacation while my company was figuring out, reallocating their resources to keep projects going. But after maybe 2 weeks off, I was back to work full time. So I'm a full-time comic book artist. That's what I do as a profession, and I am on deadline-based work. So the reality is sometimes I just can't make videos. But that hasn't been why I haven't been making videos in this context. And please hit that like button if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys. The reason I haven't been making videos is because every card is so overpowered, right? Like, I don't know, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I will say part of the reason I started doing MyTeam videos was because I saw that the MyTeam cards, their value was really misorganized because people didn't know how strong stuff like the Peekaboo and the Pro Hezzy and the, certain dribble packages like Pro 2 and Curry and Pro 6, nobody knew how strong those things were. So I was just like, let me start talking to this community and letting you guys know what these cards can really do based on these animations that they have, right? And then as the year went on, you started to see cards literally get Pro 3 Hezzy up as their updates, right? Like to upgrade the card, they would get the Pro 3 Hezzy and stuff, which meant that not only did the community know about it, but the community knew about it so much so that 2K decided that it would add value to a card to add these animations that nobody was aware of before the 250K tournament, right? Now, like I said, I don't take personal credit for that, but I know that I started my videos before that happened. There's a lot of things that could factor into it, but the bottom line is people knew what those things were. Now, that having been said, I still think there's a lot to learn about the game. Beyond that, it's just that with all of these 99 everything cards coming out, I don't think that that's as important anymore. I really do think that, for better or for worse, I mean, most people's opinion for worse, the way to win the game is to just tie Debo it up on defense, offense, rim run, and just, hunt threes with the overpowered cards, like the cards like your T-Max and your, I think it's Anthony Edwards is one of the new ones, Dwayne Wade, Glenn Rice. Like, these cards are so good at what they do. Guys, I told you this when I reviewed Dwayne Wade. I said I think so highly of this card because he's literally unguardable, right? And at first, a lot of people hated on that. He's only 6'4", who's going to use that, blah, blah, blah. And as the year goes on, people see what I'm talking about. And people are still using Pink Diamond Dwayne Wade. People are using Diamond Dwayne Wade now that he's out, right? And any card that resembles that card is considered at the top of the meta. And another card that has a power like that is T-Mac because he's so tall, he has such a smooth, fast release, and he can pull up so quickly off of the Peekaboo that's another situation where it's very, very hard, and he can shoot from so far away, it's very hard to guard him. The last thing I would have wanted was for more cards to get that. I would want those cards to be held behind a MT, check or a VC check or a skill check. Keep some kind of barrier between those cards, because if the whole game plays like Pink Diamond Dwayne Wade, who never gets subbed out, then the game's not going to be in a good state. And this was before out of position locks and all this other stuff. Once you start having Bill Walton at, point guard and, obviously glitched Shaq and glitched everybody else and out of position everybody else, the game just does not play in a way that the little things are important in my team. These things are still super important in Park and Pro-Am and Play Now Online and stuff like that. It's just my team at the top of the meta in my team. And what would honestly change that dramatically is if my team had any other way to play 5v5 versus Unlimited. Like if there was a all diamond weekend tournament or, anything, a draft mode, anything that forced you to change your lineup, or even if matchmaking was super, super strict, right? If I came in with all Ruby cards and I was guaranteed to face all Ruby cards, then people would be using all Ruby cards in 12-0 to avoid Bill Walton, right? Like you'd say, I don't want to play against that. But the matchmaking isn't strict. There's so many ways to avoid, matchmaking pitfalls that there's no way to avoid the meta, really, right? You can go in with like a 92 overall team, and these days that team can still play really, really well. But for the most part, if you want to use any of the cards that you really, really like, you run the risk of running up against a team that's all Peekaboo, Ty Debo, Splash Edition, all of that stuff. That's what you're going to be dealing with. So in that meta, the little things don't matter because 2K is not built to defend the tools that my team gives you at every position. In fact, basketball in general is not meant to be that way. You can see in real life basketball, when literally every person on the court can shoot a 3-ball at a high level, defense just breaks down. The game is made so that some people are better at some things and some people are better at other things. Once, Robbie, rest in peace, said this game is a fantasy mode, right? It's a fantasy mode, have fun. And I maintain that wasn't him giving his personal opinion. He's just being a company dude because once once it was decided by whatever group over at 2K, they were going to do, they were going to drop position locks and, put glitch cards in the game and start making cards like Giannis, a lights out knockdown shooter. He had no choice, right? He's not going to come out and say, hey guys, I really disagree with this, but no, he's not going to do that. But that having been said, once we passed that point, it was really just a matter of time. Once every card becomes Glitch Shaq, once every card becomes Giannis, once every card becomes Dwayne Wade or T-Mac, there's no way to stop it on defense except to basically cheese the game. And which is off ball, smother, passing lanes, and the passing lane stuff gets more toxic because everybody's so tall. You can run a lineup of all 6'11s again. Everything they said that they were against became a reality. And as anybody who has to play this mode on a regular basis will tell you, mode's super goofy, right? RCA made a post about how it's not a real competitive game. Shakedown, after his hiatus, Shake and Bake, I'm sorry. I might call him Shakedown a few times, I apologize. Me and Shakedown are actually buddies offline, so usually when I think Shake, I think of Shakedown 2012. But yeah, Shake and Bake, he's going to talk about how goofy it is. Even people, and even again, RCA the Great's really, really good at this game. This guy does 12 O's for money, right? And he's like, this is not competitive. This is not like a real thing, right? So, and if you play other game modes in 2K, you know the big difference. This game was not designed to play this way. So, it's not that I'm a hater on people who play that way. I'm really not. Actually, I think those people are doing the right thing. It's your job as a competitive player to do the most competitive thing and show the proper indication of the state of the game. But the bottom line is, my channel is about subtlety. My channel is about knowing all the little things and using every tool in your disposal to, maximize your potential. I don't think you need to do that if you're playing MyTeam Unlimited. Now, everything that I've talked about before does still pertain to Triple Threat Online. I think, all of this stuff will help you in Triple Threat Online. But look, man, Triple Threat Online is a fun mode, and the bottom line is, if you're solid at the game and you can defend for a couple of possessions, you're going to run into a lot of bums in Triple Threat Online, and occasionally you're going to run into anybody that you can't do anything about. But there's spacing in Triple Threat Online, so people have to play a little bit of defense. They can't just sit in the passing lanes the only time. If you can literally, with Bill Walton, just do that in Triple Threat Online, they can't guard you one-on-one. And if you have, let me see, I think I have somebody in here with it. I think West Unsell has it. But if you, and I've been telling you guys this since the beginning of the year, and it's funny because I always get somebody who has no idea how to dribble, that doesn't work against the CPU. Listen, this works against the CPU every damn time I do it. I don't know what you're doing differently than me, but if you're in Triple Threat Online and somebody's trying to play off-ball defense with the CPU, just do that 2 or 3 times and then hop, step, and dunk on the CPU. That's never not worked for me. So I don't know. In fact, as soon as I see someone off-balling, I literally do that instantly. There's a lot of things that work in that regard. A lot of things that the CPU is not prepared to deal with. I'm not going to go into all of them because that's not the topic of this video. But bottom line is this stuff still works in Triple Threat Online. But I don't think people are really having trouble with Triple Threat Online. A lot of the card reviews they look for to fill up their lineup in MyTeam Unlimited. And I don't know. I just felt like I didn't really need card reviews to tell you guys to get the tallest, fastest, best three-point shooting guys and go and follow Ty Debo's videos and, do that cheesy defense and on offense, rim run and, run at the hashes and peekaboo and good luck. Know your releases and that's it. You don't even need to really know how to play 2K to do that stuff. And when I say you don't need to know how to play 2K, I mean, if you played somebody and playing out online, you'd have to know more of the game than that. Now, obviously, guys like Ty Debo and RCA the Great, they do know more than that. Ty Debo is a great player. Jomar is a great player. They know how to play the entire game. But when they play MyTeam, they throw most of their own knowledge out of the window and they do what works. So when I watch some of the best players in the game saying, I don't really need to know how to play to do this, I kind of feel like, well, I don't need to teach people how to play for them to do that. But that having been said, you guys have been really supportive of the channel. With MyTeam, I don't really want to currently grind this game mode, and I'm not spending money on this game mode, just as a principle. Because the only point of buying the best cards is to go and play Unlimited, right? I can already play, my cards aren't outdated for Triple Threat Online. I can easily go online and win Triple Threat Online as much as any other time. But for the meta cards and getting the super new, the next cards and all this other stuff, the only reason you're doing all of that stuff is because you're trying to stay at the very, very top of the meta in MyTeam Unlimited. And at this point in the game, the mode isn't just, you know, it's in that end of the year goofy place. So you don't need to know how to play to do that stuff. But so for me, it's hard to muster up the energy to do anything to acquire the resources to get those cards, to like teach you about those cards. Like what I love to do is Zion review, I would love to. But I'm not going to do anything it requires to get Zion. Like if I get lucky and use some of the VC that I have from my, you know, my career account, from playing Park and stuff like that, and I get somebody out of a pack, I'd be happy to do a review of it. But unfortunately, for some reason, I think my PS4 doesn't allow people to share accounts. I always get an error code on 2K. Obviously, if I was playing any other video game, that wouldn't be a problem. But in 2K, for some reason, I can't share accounts. So until PS5 comes out, or I get I'm not going to get a PS4 Pro at this point in the year, there's no way for me to share accounts that I know of. I will look at other avenues. I'll see if I can use my brother's PS4, because if I can do that, that's a way for me to do card reviews on everything, if you guys would just share your accounts with me. But until then, I had no real reason to cover the game. Now, that having been said, that doesn't mean I don't want to cover 2K at all. I would still love to teach you guys more stuff about my career. I have a my career, you know, a Park Pro-Am dunk package video coming up, because there are only 2 dunk packages you need as a guard to have completely elite dunks. Literally only 2 dunk packages. So I have that video coming for you guys. I wanted to put up some Park gameplay so we can just talk about current events and stuff like that in the 2K world. You know, whether it be matchups between so-and-so, you know, updates and all that other stuff, opinion pieces. You know, I could show that to all of you guys and have those discussions with you over like Park footage or just live streams and so on and so forth. So I do want to go back to producing more content, more gameplay footage. I might do some triple threat online if you guys are interested in seeing me throw up some triple threat footage. I actually have recorded quite a bit of that. I just haven't done it in a while, so I don't want to put super old footage up. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in that stuff, let me know what you're interested in. In fact, if you guys have any questions, you want me to cover anything, let me know. But at this point in the year, it's difficult for me to cover cards because I personally don't have any intention on grinding my team. Right now, my focus is mostly on becoming a better Park and Pro-Am player. So I'm still, you know, I'm still playing a little bit of my team, but it's not my main focus, and it's not. I'm not doing enough my team to like get all of the cards to like every week cover every card that comes out and stuff like that. And again, it's right now at this point in the year, there's not a whole lot of new cards. There's a whole lot of old cards just getting 99 everything. So, you know, so that's kind of where I'm at with the channel right now. And I can't say enough. Thank you all so much for the support. And I'm still like buying equipment to prepare for 2K21. 2K21, we're coming in day one, full-time MyTeam coverage. Literally from the very beginning, we'll be covering MyTeam all year until they goof it up with whatever cheesy stuff they're going to add. You know, we're going to be covering the game all year. I'm not going to say until that point. What I'll probably do is I'll cover it in whatever capacity I can. Hopefully next year, in whatever way they goof it up, it's not so unrealistic that you just literally have people running all over the place, you know, mashing square in the passing lanes, and the gameplay is like, you know, just out of control. But yeah, so 2K21 will come in strong, heavy. But between now and then, and we're going to also be covering like 2K21, what would we like to see? What do we not want to see going forward? What would we like to keep? What was really successful about this year? All that other stuff. You know, so there's a lot of reasons to make 2K videos. Card reviews is kind of at the bottom of the ladder, but if you guys have a card that you really want to see, definitely still let me know. And if it's affordable, as in like 100K MT or less, I will definitely do that card. If it's over 300K, chances are I'm not going to get it, but at some point towards the end of the year, I will sell everything in my collection. I can probably get a good, I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are, but I could probably sell everything and wind up with 600 to 800K MT. I just want to get one more collector reward. I'm 22 cards away from that. And once I get that collector reward, I'm going to sell everything. And I'll probably make a video and take a vote over which cards you guys want to see me grab for me to cover for you. And that is pretty much going to be it. So we will be covering 2K topics. We will be covering. I will be doing more My Career stuff. I am a My Career build guy. My Career build videos still hold up to this very day. They were pretty accurate, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying, like, these are the builds everybody's playing, right? Like the two-way slashing playmaker. I highlighted that build literally before the game came out, right? And that is the #1 build right now in pretty much every position. Like, you can make that build at every position, and it works. So, you know, I want to get those build videos out for you guys, talk about those builds. And I think going forward, one of the things for my videos will be, for all you guys who play MyTeam, definitely make a My Career character. You don't have to be a part god. You don't have to play Pro-Am all the time. But just spending a little bit of time in that area of the game will drastically improve your gameplay. Spatial Jones, a buddy of mine who's very well, not very, but reasonably active on the 2K Gamer forums. He has his own stream that he puts up. Hardcore MyTeam player. He can tell you himself, just a little bit of part play and a little bit of Pro-Am play goes a long way to helping you learn each individual position and some of those nuances that you don't get when you're focusing on the 5v5 game. I don't think that park players are automatically better at 2K than everybody else. I think every game mode teaches you a certain skill set. You know, in what do you call it? In playing out online, you have to be good at 5v5 without the overpowered players. In MyTeam, you have to be good at the most overpowered mechanics in the game. In Park, you have to be good at your individual skills of setting screens or taking screens or dribbling and, you know, and shooting with one release. And in Pro-Am, you have to be really, really good at the 5-player metagame against other human beings, you know, while also being good at your individual skills and making the game easier for your primary players. And if you play all of those modes, that will make you the best possible 2K player. The best possible 2K player is going to be the person that plays a little bit of everything and mains 1 or 2 of the modes. You know, so that's my overall suggestion. I see it all the time. I've seen people, park gods, who average, you know, 10 points a game in the park, go into Pro-Am and get ruined by people who were slightly above average Pro-Am players because they're just not good at Pro-Am. You know, that park stuff, there's less space in Pro-Am, you know? And the same thing in MyTeam. I've seen people who are really, really great Pro-Am players go into MyTeam and get smashed just because they weren't as used to switching icons and all that other stuff, you know? Now, maybe they'll become a better player with just another 10 hours or so of MyTeam, and vice versa, you know? So my channel is never going to be a MyTeam only channel because I think the best, healthiest thing for any MyTeam player is to know 2K as an entire game, not just know 2K as a MyTeam player, not just know what you can get away with. Because, and you can watch the players who think that way, they always lose to the players who have a better rounded skill set. You know, and the only thing that can save those guys is those overpowered cards, which is why you'll see different people winning at the end of the year when the cards can play the game for you than at the beginning of the year where specialized, subtle skill sets are more valuable, right? So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching with me. I am now going to head to the guitar store, as I've been meaning to do before they close up on me. Guys, I know I've said it before, but I cannot thank you enough for all of the support for this channel. I'm just blown away by it, and we're going to go hard and heavy for 2K21. Definitely looking to get to that 5,000 subscriber mark at some point during that year. And really just keep pushing this channel so that every year, if you guys are still interested in it, I'll be here to provide, you know, the information that's in the nooks and the crannies and the subtle stuff to just keep leveling up the community, elevating the conversation about the game, keeping 2K honest, and getting the community voices out there about what makes this game mode more fun and more competitive, both for fans of NBA history, for fans of, you know, card modes, for fans of fantasy gameplay. I think this mode can make everybody happy. It's just about putting the features in the mode that everybody could play with. They've already done it a little bit because people who like collecting cards have enough offline content to do that stuff. People who like the sweaty competitive stuff can play unlimited, And people who are a little more familiar with Park and Pro-Am can play Triple Threat online and do really well after just a couple of hours of gameplay. So they just need more modes and more features. And I'm going to be going to bat hard for you guys for more modes, more features, and a better understanding of the game on the community side of it, and a better understanding of the community on the developer side of it. So thank you guys so much for everything. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.